Welcome back to the Outlaw Ranch. Today I'm going to try and do just a little bit of work here. These rear shackle hangers that were on the step side when it was leaf sprung, I'm going to try and get them off. There are a couple of welds here, and of course on the back side there. The bumper is in the way, so I'm going to try and pull the bumper off. And I'm still recovering from a bit of a back injury. So what I've done is I have my gantry crane here hooked up to a chain to the rear bumper. So all I should have to do here is just pull these bolts off of the bumper, and this gantry crane here will actually take all the weight. So I won't be doing much. I don't even know if I'm going to get much of this done. Still recovering, so I don't want to push it and re-injure it. But let's see what we can get done. So stand by, folks. We're going to get some work done. All right, y'all. So you can see we got the bumper now pulled. There was no wires or anything to it, and it's just hanging here off of the gantry crane. So bumper's removed. So now I'll just move this gantry crane out of the way and set that bumper down, and we'll get to work on trying to remove or cut through these welds right here that are holding these rear spring hangers on. The rear spring hangers needed to come off anyways. They're not really in the way, but they don't look good up there. So I'm going to try and remove them. And then we might try, if we can get them off cleanly enough, I might try to reuse them here on Old Blue at a later date. I was going to try and do the off-road design brackets and everything for this truck. It would have been easier, but I don't have the money for that. You know, money's tight for everybody. Everything is just so blasted expensive right now, and so I'm going to try and reuse these brackets here. They were made by a guy on it's Ram Charger Central forum. His name is Jim. He goes by Jungle Jim. I think it's like Jungle Fabrication or something like that. And these brackets are top notch. So I'm going to see if I can't reuse them. I'm not sure what to do for the front axle on the shackle side, but when we get to that point, we'll figure it out later. So stand by. We've got some more work to do. We're going to try and get these rear shackle hangers removed off of the step side. So stand by, y'all. All right, let me show you guys what I was able to get done here. This is where the cuts are made onto that bracket and onto that frame. Now this is the one that would be on the driver's side of the truck. And up there you can see it is welded across the top. So I'm going to have to get in there too. This would be the front side of that bracket there. And I've got about 80-ish% of it cut. This is the passenger side. Same thing. Both sides. Now this one does not have the weld across the top. So I just need to get those cut, but I couldn't get all the way up into here. You can see that's not cut. So I went to Texas Tool and Equipment, and I picked up this 90-degree angle. It's a pneumatic angle grinder, and I'm going to put it together here real quick. And I also bought this arbor and these little 3-inch cutoff wheels. So I'm going to give that a shot, see if I can't get the rest of that cut. Still just trying to take it easy. You know, the back is still real tender and I don't want to overdo it. So we'll see what I can get done, and I'll catch back up with you here in just a minute. Stand by. All right, y'all. As you can see, we've got it removed here. You can see where it was welded there. So I'm going to come in here with a flap disc and clean those welds up. And I got the bracket over here. Unfortunately, That was the easy one, because this other side, as we talked about here, it's got the weld on the top. I'm not sure that this new angle grinder with a cutoff wheel was the right tool, but I think the combination with that and then the cutoff wheel and the angle grinder, that's what got it. So I'm going to clean up that other side and see how well I can get that to look. And then we'll go from there. So stand by, folks, some more work's coming up. All right, and after a couple of minutes with a flap disc, little shaker can, and that'll look all new. So onto the side here that's going to be a real bear. I think I got about 50% of this one cut. I'll come in here with screwdrivers and pry bars and see if I can get that separated. Hopefully we get a little gap there, but we'll see. Stand by, we've got some more work to do. All right, y'all. We have success. You can see that bracket is now off. I was able to cut enough of that weld to where I could work that piece, back and forth. And by working it back and forth, what happens is it's called work hardening, and that's how the metal starts to get fatigued and everything. So, and we didn't do really any damage there to the frame. We just got to hit it with the flap disc. And this is the second one right here. And you can see that's the weld all the way across the top. So finally got it. So the only thing I got to do now is just hit this with a flap disc, stand by, and we'll get that cleaned up as best we can. So a little more work to come and we'll be finished for the day. All right, y'all. We have this frame here cleaned up. So we have both sides cleaned up now. I was going to go ahead and shoot it with a little shaker can, make it all nice and pretty and black. But there's a lot of holes in this frame, and they need to be filled in, I think. I'm going to try and get some 3/16 inch plate and box these frame rails in everywhere where I think they ought to be. But anyways, so we're not going to spray paint it, and we're going to call this job done. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, the subscribers, the non-subscribers, anybody that would watch this. I am very grateful to you. So thank you very much. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Thank you.